so inactive.
Jaime Munguia raised his hand. He said he was willing to face Big Bo if the opportunity presents itself. Jaime Munguia. Do you take him serious?
No.
Wow. Why not?
Jaime Munguia. By the way, I like Jaime Munguia, right? And I like Fernando Beltran and these guys. His resume is awful. Awful. Right? The fights that he's had recently, quite frankly, I don't want to go in too hard because I like the guy and I like the team, but he had an opportunity to move up and fight Demetrius Andrade when he moved to middleweight. He said no, right? Then he went and fought nobody about 8 times. Then he's just had the opportunity to fight Janibek for the world title, and he said no. Like, I don't know what they are doing with Jaime Munguia. I think he's a good fighter. I think he looks great. I think he could be a superstar, but it is just the worst matchmaking from Golden Boy I've ever seen. Ever seen. And the last guy, that was unbelievable. I mean, it was bad leading up to that, but I don't know what he's doing. You know,
speaking of matchmaking, there was a few comments by Bob made the other day. I'm not sure if you had a chance to if you heard it. If you have a commentary, says that Eddie Hearn is pretty much a scrub what he was saying in the U.S. I think it was amazing.
I think
can you speak to maybe his comments that Bob made?
Bob is, I said that Bob's 90 whatever. He's off his head on everything that he takes, and I just feel that there's an agenda on us. Like you saw it tonight. It was a great show.
Absolutely.
You know, we just did Canelo Triple G. We did Canelo Bivol. I just did Bivol Ramirez. We did Taylor Serrano at Madison Square Garden. I think we had a pretty good year. In fact, I think Top Rank is in a horrific situation with ESPN. If you look at their ratings, if you look at the actual shows and the gates that they're delivering, they're not going to any big arenas. I don't think they have any ambition. They're going to Las Vegas to Resorts World and Virgin Hotel and just staging fights in 1,500. What have they got coming up? Efe Ajagba against Oscar Rivas as a main event at Turning Stone. That's giving up. Bob Arum's got no ambition anymore because why would he? I wouldn't have any ambition. I'd be on a beach. Do you know what I mean? But I'm staging shows around the world every single week. So, you know, we go back for Josh Warrington against Lopez next week, great fight in Leeds. And we look forward to a great schedule. You know, normally I get blamed for saying too much about people, but now people are saying, you know, and the funny thing is, I've got to say one thing, is someone posted that interview and it just come up on my Twitter, liked by Leonard Ellerbe. And I thought to myself, that says it all. That says everything you need to know. This guy's sitting at home, yes, another bad interview about Eddie Hearn, like. You know what I mean? While he's sitting there while Floyd Mayweather and Gervonta Davis are fighting on DAZN. Anyway, next question.
Who's thinking Fury will head to the Tank Davis?
Sorry?
Fiasco. The Tank Davis may win the promotion.
They've lost him. I mean, he's come out. I mean, the one thing I don't understand about Gervonta Davis is, why does he keep tweeting and then deleting it like 10 minutes later? It's really quite annoying. He done one about me earlier and I went back to read it and it had gone. Someone had screenshotted it, luckily, but it's very strange. But, you know, he's said a dozen times he's no longer under promotion with Mayweather Promotions. So, you know.
Have you had a chance to talk to him? I know the last time we spoke about this, you know, Leonard Ellerbe and Mayweather Promotions sent you a document saying you couldn't talk to him anymore or talk about him. I don't know if he has still the chance or has he reached out to you?
Maybe.
Question.
So is that fight not going to be
a statement? I just want to thank you for being a big promoter of women's boxing. And what are your thoughts about women's boxing?
I think it is unbelievable. I think it's fantastic. In fact, I'm negotiating the Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano fight at the moment, and I say I can't believe the numbers that we're talking, but it's just deserved. You know, but if you'd have said to me the money that these two are making for the rematch a year ago, let alone 3 years ago, I would have said absolutely no chance. They want to fight each other. They want to fight the best. The champions want to fight the champions. Every champion wants to be undisputed. There's no politics. There's no egos. It's so refreshing.
Eddie, is your legal issues with Jake Paul having an issue between Amanda Serrano and Dick Taylor having
No, that's the legal situation is ongoing, but the negotiations are also ongoing and not had any effect on that at all.
Eddie Tank against Ryan Garcia is going to be exclusively on DAZN then?
No, I'm not involved with that, but as I understand it,
I know, but
obviously it's Showtime and DAZN, and brilliant by Stephen Espinoza and Joe Markowski, those guys, to get that done, because that is a great fight. That is one of the biggest fights in boxing. two very different fan bases, two very different fighters. I hope it happens.
Would that open the door for maybe a Gennady Golovkin, Jamar Charlo?
Yeah. I mean, I just don't see Charlo as a draw, honestly. Like, I don't know. I don't see how you can build the profile of a fighter when he's inactive for 15, 16 months. More than that, because he's not going to fight this year. He's not going to fight in January. He's not even in the gym. So I think, Gennady Golovkin against Jaime Munguia. Now that's a fight that could be a lot more interesting, in my opinion, and a lot bigger. Listen, if I'm Jaime Munguia, I'm trying to get a fight with Canelo Alvarez. For me, that's a massive fight. But at the same time, you've got to beat opposition, like we said earlier, to put yourself in the hat for that fight.
Eddie, do you think I'm from Nicaragua?
Hi, I'm from London.
Eddie, I'm talking to. I want to ask you about Christopher Rosales. He's alive now, 112 pounds, beating Joselito Velasquez. Before the fight, he said it's kill or death for me. I don't have tomorrow. What do you think about his presentation tonight?
I thought he was fantastic. I thought it was a very close fight, actually. I tweeted at the end of the fight saying maybe a draw, and everyone went, no, Rosales won easy. So I got that wrong, but I thought it was a really good performance. I felt that after the Martinez fight, and then he lost again, I thought that was the end of his career. But he came back. He looks very good, looks very healthy, and I think he has a big future.
Eddie, piggybacking on the women's boxing, you talk about they all want to unify and all those type of fights. It seems like the only places we're getting fighters that want to fight for those kind of fights are in the women's division in total, and then the lower weight divisions in men's. What can we do in boxing as a promoter, as fighters, just to kind of rectify that, where the other divisions have that same gumption to do the same?
It's just like money. I mean, you look at Terence Crawford. I don't know whether it's true. He's making 10 million to fight David Avanesian. He won't. What? 7. I mean, it won't do 10,000 buys. 10,000, right? If it's $60, right? It won't do 10,000 buys. So, if you're getting paid that much to fight Avanesian, you want 20 to fight Spence, or you want 25, which is still too much money. So everybody's just going mad, and the problem is, if it's out there, I say it's not the right commercial price or commercial value, but if it's out there, it's just madness. But I just feel like you're going to be inactive. These guys are so inactive. Like Errol Spence now, when's he going to fight? They're talking about March, maybe against Thurman or something like that. But
Can anybody promote Terence Crawford? I mean, could you promote Terence Crawford?
I mean, not for that sort of money. but at the same time, he's an unbelievable fighter. Right. But the way you promote a fighter is you build them. You have to get hold of them early enough. Diego Pacheco is a good example, right? He turns pro at 17. You start boxing him on these big shows. He looks good. He starts knocking people out. He's from South Central LA. Then you fight him on a card all of a sudden, and you hear a much bigger round of applause when he walks in. And you go, oh, and that happened about a year ago. Now, every show, like again tonight, and then people walk away tonight and they go, see that Diego Pacheco? Yeah, he's someone we can get behind. He's 21. When he gets to 23, he's going to be headlining in LA, and he'll be selling out the old StubHub there, right? Right. And that's how you build a fighter. Terence Crawford is now 34. Brilliant fighter. Pound for pound, maybe pound for pound number one. But I feel like they should have built him more. It's difficult because you want to just fill arenas with him in Nebraska, but you can't generate the gate you need in Nebraska. But for me, visually, when you turn on the TV and you see a guy who's selling 10,000 plus, that's when you're building a star. Same with Deontay Wilder in Alabama, when they went there and done that. It's wild, But Americans and everybody will tune in and see. It's like tonight. If you tuned in tonight, you go, wow, it's wild in there, great atmosphere. So you're immediately engaged. If you turn on somewhere and it's empty, you just think, this guy's there's no star. So building a fighter is not something you can do at 34.
Right, but I mean, so Terence Crawford, as good as he is, as we people within the sport know, as good as he is he a lost cause?
No, it's not a lost cause because he's pound for pound number one. You can't be that. But what I'm saying is, the problem you have in this country is Terence Crawford could walk down Glendale in the mall, right, or in Phoenix or wherever, and no one would have a clue who he is. and he's the pound for pound #1 in the sport. I find that unbelievable.
Yeah, so do I. I guess my question is that how can that be good for the sport?
No, it's not. But I think it's a mixture of laziness. I think it's also boxing has a tough time because there's so many different sports ahead of it in the pecking order here. Like if there's a British champion in England who walks into a shopping mall, they'll get mobbed because boxing is probably the #2 or #3 sport. It's different, you know? Right, guys?
Eddie, what do you think of Usyk meeting Fury in the ring after tonight?
Yeah, I think
how
it's
difficult is it going to be to make that
No,
fight?
I think it'll be pretty easy. I think there'll be a lot of money for that fight in the Middle East, so I think it'll be made next.
What's the steps that will get you there?
Money.
Yeah.
They'll just talk and money. Obviously, the belts will have to be on the line because Saudi will want to make sure that it's undisputed, and there's a few hurdles to overcome. But I think they'll get there.
First half of the year?
Huh?
First half of the year?
Oh, yeah, I think they're talking March or something like that.
For all the fights you've discussed, what fight do you believe you can bring back here and pull the same crowd that you pulled tonight?
In Phoenix?
Yeah, Phoenix or here specifically.
All right. Estrada Chocolatito 4? Okay. No. I think there's some great fights to be made. I mean, obviously, I think that our schedule for the new year, I think we spoke about this the other day, where you got to target, I think we have to target these places like Phoenix. San Diego, I think, is another hot spot. We have a lot of Mexican fighters. We do 4 or 5 Mexican shows a year. We've got all the young Mexican talent coming through as well. Jesse Rodriguez is going to be a big star for us as well. I'd like to see Anthony Joshua box over here. Maybe Canelo boxes in May. Bivol could fight in America as well. I think we'll do the undisputed fight with Serrano against Cruz first in the US, probably in New York, and then go over to Ireland for Croke Park in front of 80,000 with Taylor. So yeah, we're working on our schedule at the moment, and I think there's certain cities that we should definitely look to take a handle on.
When is Hearns Ellerbe going to happen?
No, he's done, mate. Who's he got? What fighter does Leonard Ellerbe represent?
Question.
That's a good way to finish.
Definitely.
Asked about